This is the Ulrich and Kaser Fluckiger Immigration presentation that was done on October 24th to 2016, Bedford, for a family reunion. This is our family reunion, our family coat of arms. There are two lasting bequests we can give our children. One is roots, the other is wings. This is a picture of the Knuble, the home place of siblings of Ulrich and Anna Kaser Fluckiger in Switzerland. This is another view of the same building. It's up on the hillside and a very beautiful area. This is Dernroth, Bern, Switzerland. That's a little village. We're looking down on the village from the Knuble. The Knuble's up on the hillside. This is the village that the siblings grew up in. They went to school here, they attended their church services here, and that was the community they were a part of. The hamlet of Fluckigen, Switzerland. This is over the hill from the Knuble. The Knuble would be to your right on the other side of that hill. And this apparently is the little hamlet where the Fluckigers originally emigrated to, came to this part of Switzerland. According to the records that we have, apparently they came from about 600 to 700 AD. This is the chapel in Rohrbach, which is a community somewhat distant from the Knuble. This is the church that the early Fluckigers attended, and the stained glass window there is a picture of the Savior knocking at the door. This is a Dernroth church, the village in which our immediate ancestors were a part of. There's in that building, there's a stained glass window called, referred to as the Fluckiger stained glass window. And just what the history is on that particular picture, I do not know. And this is a close-up view of the same picture. Timeline. Our immediate ancestors, Ulrich Fluckiger and Anna Kaser. Christian Fluckiger was the father of Ulrich. And the siblings of Ulrich and Anna are listed below. I'll just go over their names real quick. Anna Maria is the oldest child of Ulrich and Anna. Anna Barbara is next. She married a Gradel, and families that came from this union are Spyker and Fuhrman. Next sibling is Anna Catherine. She married a Zender. Next is Johannes, or John, is his English name he went by. Next is Ulrich, who remained in Switzerland, and Whistler family comes from that branch. Elizabeth is next. Rosetta died as a child. She's the only one that didn't attain adulthood. Gottlieb is next. Marianne, she married a Frederick. Jacob Andrew. And the last one is Anna Maria Elise. Ulrich Fluckiger family history. There have been many individuals who have contributed to the information that we have at current time regarding the early history of the Fluckiger clan. 1898, John began to collect information, probably mostly genealogical data. One of the interesting things to me is that my mother, when she immigrated from Germany in 1838, she was the only one living about that time among the immediate family members that was proficient in reading and German. There were a number of old letters just in a pile. She was asked to translate these letters, which she did. And the information gleaned from the translation was very helpful to us as we as we compiled the Fluckiger family homes, history of the immigration and the homes that they built. They provided dates and times and places and individuals and names that made it possible to fit many pieces of the puzzle together. The very last entry listed 2012 Fluckiger Bible, donated to the DUP Museum, Afton, Wyoming, has to do with Max Fluckiger. He was the only living representative in Switzerland carrying the family name from this particular lineage. He didn't know what to do with the Bible because he had no posterity, and so he donated. The Bible was not accepted by the church historical department. The DUP Museum here in Afton accepted the Bible, almost 300 years old. It is now on display, and I would encourage those who have an interest to stop by when they have opportunity of that museum and view the Bible. It's in a beautiful display case. And there are pictures of family members who were descendants of that lineage, and a number of other artifacts. In 2006, there was a family reunion, a family tour, I should say, and this was under the sponsorship of Jay Fluckiger in conjunction with Max Fluckiger, and we had the opportunity to go to Switzerland, visit the old home place, the Knubel, and the various other sites in Switzerland. While we were gathered there at the Knubel, there were several Swiss cousins, and So a picture was taken among those who were in the group there, who were direct descendants of Ulrich and Anna Kaser Fluckiger, 49 individuals. This is a picture of those individuals. The family that we're directly concerned with is the family, of course, of Ulrich and Anna Kaser Fluckiger. Ulrich and Anna are listed at the top. Those are the parents. Now the siblings are listed along with the individuals that they married. Anna Maria, being the oldest, married a Christian Fluckiger, and so her married name was Anna Maria Fluckiger. So far as I know, they had no children. Anna Barbara married Johannes Guedel, and she did not join the church and remained in Switzerland and raised her family there. Anna Catherine stayed in Switzerland. She married Ulrich Zander. And next was Johannes, or John, as the English name he went by. I married a Marianne von Allman. And Ulrich Jr., I refer to him as, married a Maria Schar. He was the third individual, the third sibling that did not join the church, remained in Switzerland. He played a very important role in the immigration of his siblings. And there was a negative feeling between the siblings who remained in Switzerland with respect to siblings who immigrated. Ulrich assumed the ownership of the Knubel, and he was determined that he was not going to be owing money, inheritance money, to his siblings who immigrated when they needed it. So he borrowed quite a large sum of money in order to pay those who were immigrating at the time they requested it, so that they had finances to immigrate, to establish themselves in the New World. Elizabeth is the next one. She married a Christian von Allman. Actually, she married, her first marriage was, Christian von Allman. And they immigrated to Santa Clara, Utah. He died a few months later. She naturally went to Providence, to her relatives there, and continued on with her life. Rosetta is the only one who did not attain adulthood. She died as a child. Gottlieb married Elisa Schweischer. Maria Ann married Albert Frederick. Jacob married Barbara Baumgartner. Maria Elise married Hans Jordan Hemmert. They were married a few years. He passed away, and so she remarried Griffith P. Roberts. The question may arise as to why almost all the siblings immigrated to the Providence or Logan area when they came across. And to explain that, we'll go to Anna Kaser, who is our direct ancestor. She was the youngest child of Ulrich, Kaser, and Elizabeth Asherman. Her her second oldest sibling was Barbara. Barbara Kaser was about 20 years older than Anna Kaser, much older. And she married Andreas Loosely. Now, Andreas Loosely and Barbara Kaser had several children. And one of the children they had was also called Barbara. Barbara, the child of Barbara Kaser, Barbara Loosely, married a Jacob Fuhrman. In about 1858. Now, this family rejoined the church in about 1856. And Jacob married Barbara in 1858. And in 1860, there were 3 siblings who immigrated to the Great Basin, Salt Lake, Logan area. Barbara, her brother Ulrich, and brother Hans Kaser. And they immigrated about 1860, settled in the Logan, Providence area. And Barbara, at the time, her and Jacob had a young child, their first child, who they named Godfrey. And Godfrey, about 20 plus years later, met John at the Logan train station when John immigrated. And so, naturally, the siblings that we are direct descendants of immigrated to the Logan area because they had relatives there. Now, this is a picture of the siblings of our children of Ulrich Fluckiger and Anna Kaser Fluckiger. We've went over their names, but we'll just try and attach a name to a face. Anna Maria was the oldest child. Anna Barbara is the next oldest. She did not immigrate. She did not join the church nor immigrate to America. Anna Catherine did not immigrate. John did immigrate. He played a key role in the immigration of not just himself, but his siblings as well. Ulrich Jr., I refer to him as, he did not immigrate. He's the one that took over the home place and provided the funds for those who did immigrate. Elizabeth joined the church and immigrated. Gottlieb, Marianne, and Elise all immigrated together 1890. They came to Montpelier. John picked them up at the train station there, brought them to the valley where he was established. And about 2 weeks later, he took Marianne and Maria Elise to Logan. There they lived with their Aunt Barbara Loosely, who had immigrated, and apparently she was living alone, and so her two nieces, Marianne and Elise, lived with her for a time. Now we'll go to the chart of the immigration chart. Okay, let me just review it quickly. The first one to immigrate of the siblings was John, May of 1884. He came across and went to Providence, stayed there for a few months. And later on, of course, he married Marianne von Ullman. The next to immigrate was Elizabeth. Elizabeth married Christian von Ullman, and they were both members of the church. They immigrated to Santa Clara, Utah, and he died a few months later, so then she went to Logan, where she had relatives. Next was Rosetta, who died as a child. Gottlieb, as I mentioned, immigrated 1890 along with Marianne and Elise. And they came to Montpelier, to Bedford, and then in 2 weeks, Jacob or Andrew took the two sisters to Logan, and they lived in with their aunt, Barbara Loosely. And in 1894, John was called on a mission to Switzerland. He left on his mission and spent a good part of his mission, at least in the area where the home place was, the Knuble. And when he got ready to return, he baptized Andrew, his brother, his younger brother, and Anna Maria, his oldest sister. So when he returned home, Andrew came with him. Of course, Andrew had no place to stay, so Andrew lived with John and his family for about a year in their home. 1899, Anna Maria, whose husband had long passed away, immigrated to the States, the Great Basin, the Logan area, and she brought with her two young boys whose mother had passed away, whose father was unable to immigrate because of finances, and so he sent two of his boys with Anna Maria, and she brought these boys to Bedford. And one of the boys lived with Andrew and Barbara. They were about 8 to 10 years old. The other boy lived with Gottlieb and Lisa. They lived there for, I think, about till 1903, when their father immigrated, and he came and picked up the boys, and both Gottlieb and Andrew apparently really missed them because they had no children of that age at that point in time. Now, let's return to our Swiss cousins. Ulrich Jr. had 6 children. Of course, they had 5 boys and 1 girl. The girl's name was Frida. She married a whistler, and whistler is a common last name of our Swiss cousins. Out of the 5 boys, apparently only Werner had posterity, at least posterity that survived, reached adulthood. One of the children of Werner was Max. Max, when he reached maturity, married Wally, and I don't remember. Anyway, they never had any children. In the course of time, Max inherited the family Bible, a Bible that is nearly 300 years old. And he didn't know what to do with it. Eventually, arrangements were made and to place the Bible in the Daughters of Utah Pioneers here in Wyoming. And it's on display there. I would encourage any who have an interest to make arrangements to see the Bible and other artifacts, Fluckiger artifacts that are housed in that museum. That was in 2012. Max has since passed away. This is a picture of Max and his wife, Wally. Their Fluckiger reunion, if I remember right. He had a really feeling for his home and place in Grenoble, Switzerland. He said the last Fluckiger of Ulrich's family in Switzerland, former owner of the Grenoble, our forefathers' home, desires to strengthen togetherness of the Fluckiger blood and the heartfelt affection for Switzerland, the homeland. Did that in the show.